And to everyone out there listening, welcome to another episode of the Professional Heels Podcast. You have me, Brendan Cabino, also known as the Black John Cena, and you have my man, Gavin Gabriel, also known as the Sexy Goldberg. And today we have an episode to quickly recap on what happened in the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Bro, how did you find it?
Dude, I liked it for the most. It wasn't amazing, but I think as far as like going back to like our prediction card, it kind of went around the way we thought it was.
Yeah,
exactly. I think everything that we were kind of like, I'm afraid this is what's gonna happen, and if it does, that's a bummer. Is the opposite of what happened. So I mean.
Yeah.
Ronda got her title back, which is what we were kind of leaning for. We weren't really feeling Liv with the way she was. Looks like she's the repackage they're doing for her. Bianca retained. I think we both kind of thought she wasn't. What's next for her now? And then I think the only issue I really had with it is the whole time you were just kind of wondering about the White Rabbit, which ended up being Bray Wyatt, as a lot of us predicted.
Yeah.
But it was kind of the whole show. It was like, what's going to happen? When's it going to appear? Who's it going to be? And it was just kind of, I felt like that kind of shadowed over some of the card. Because every match I'm watching, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, when's it going to happen? When's he going to come out? Who's it going to be? All that stuff. I was like, I don't know. But a good card. It wasn't the best card I've ever seen. What did you think of it?
I thought it was good. I thought it was a good pay-per-view, but that's it. It was good. You know? I didn't think it was anything special. I think the whole pay-per-view was built on the suspense of who is the White Rabbit, what's this going to be, even though everyone in the dog knew it was Bray Wyatt. It's just those ones where, you know, they're still going to, like, if we're going to live in the world of kayfabe, we're still going to try to be like, oh, who the hell is it? Like, who is it going to be? But, and then you're right, because we had good matches. You know, we had Sheamus, the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium. Amazing match. Was
I think it stole the show.
Yeah, definitely.
We were kind of talking about it possibly stealing it, and in my opinion, it did.
And it did. And, you know, all the other, like, matches we are looking at like, interesting. It's a good match, but when's the White Rabbit gonna come out? And there's a thing where you constantly talk about it, you constantly put it in everyone's head, and because of that, it's a thing where it's all people really and truly care about. Do you understand? Rather than Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey or Seth and Riddle and what's not, and it's just, you know, like
it kind of reminds me of the women's. Was it the first women's Rumble where the whole match gets overshadowed by the fact that Ronda came out afterwards, and it was kind of like I couldn't tell you anything that happened in that Rumble match, but I could tell you Ronda came out after, and that's it overshadowed it. And granted, this Extreme Rules wasn't supposed to be like this groundbreaking thing, but I think moving forward and in the history books, it's mostly just going to be remembered for Bray Wyatt's return.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, nonetheless,
now leaning into that, and leaning into Bray Wyatt, it does. I mean, fast forwarding for a half second, it looks like he's in this kind of struggle, and he's going to kind of be feuding with himself for at least a second. While they decide maybe if he's going to be heel or face, and it's just like battling his inner demons. But when he came back at Extreme Rules, they kind of teased this faction that we've been hearing about, and a revised Wyatt family, the Wyatt Six, as a lot of people are calling it.
Yeah.
And they had stand-ins as for each character from when he was, you know, the Fiend. Yeah. It looks like it's going to be Bray, 4 males, and a female.
Yeah.
If they decide to go with that.
And, I mean, it's interesting because, you know, when we think of stables, before I get back into Bray's future one, we've got, like, you know, Judgment Day. we've got the Bloodline, and then we've got like here just Imperium. Like that's not really saying that's more of a tag team, but like you've got like stables across WWE, right? So now we're going on towards Bray Wyatt's one. It's like, whoa, who's going to be in this stable? Where's this stable going to be? Is it going to be on Raw? Is it going to be on SmackDown? Who are they going to feud? Are they going to be seen as heel, face? So on and so on, And this is kind of those ones from there where it's like, well, it's interesting because I'm pretty sure this stable is going to involve some older people. By older people, I mean like people who were ex-stars and now they are coming back into it.
At least one or two.
Yeah, at least one or two. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure like a good two of them at least, or probably most. Actually, I would say two of them at most would be former wrestlers, WWE stars.
There've been some rumors going on with who will be each character, I guess, but I mean the closest connection we can make is that with these returning rumors, as far as just the WWE in general, they've all been hit on the head, and they've all been really quickly after. So the recent one was the Club. So Gallows and Anderson were rumored, and then literally the night I saw the rumor, they came back.
They came back. Yeah.
And so for this Wyatt 6, the name, at least one of the names I've been hearing thrown around, is Bo Dallas, as far as returning to the company. Bo Dallas is Bray Wyatt's brother, so it's very much possible that could be a connection.
Very much possible.
That's made if they do choose to bring him back.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't remember that before coming to the main roster, Bo Dallas kind of was one of the first foundation pieces of like the NXT.
Yeah. Bo Dallas was that guy. I remember it very much. He was that guy. And then obviously came to the roster and it was just a pure jobber. But people saw him at NXT, they're like, this guy's good. They're like, what's gonna go on? Like everyone's waiting. Bo, leave, yeah. And everyone's like waiting for him to finally be serious. That's what they're waiting for the roster for him to be serious, but it was just a joker throughout the whole time, and I was like, oh god. But he definitely, if you're hearing, I think I saw it's like one of those like Twitter leaks or just people here and there talking about it. You're like, oh, well, if they're saying it, and with the way the company's going, with rumors being said and it actually coming true, then that's definitely going to be true, right?
Yeah,
it would make perfect sense for Bo Dallas to come back because I haven't seen him for a minute. So yeah, it'd be really good for his character.
Yeah, another possible rumor that I've already seen several names for each character. Joe Gacy from NXT being one. I guess because his name was linked to one of the teasers, and he has the whole creepy kind of vibe to him. Yeah, he'd fit perfectly in it. But Eric Rowan is one of the names that were being rumored. He's a free agent at the moment. He's obviously part of the original Wyatt family. Him and Bray are very close.
Yeah,
it would make sense for him to be. I don't see them with Braun just returning and him doing his own thing at the moment. I don't see them instantly. Yeah, and they don't need like the powerhouse, whereas like they have the mystic, dark, gothic, weird, creepy shit going on. Yeah. So they don't need the powerhouse. Yeah. But Eric Rowan could still be a good fit for that. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest question mark, I think a lot of people are kind of like, I don't really care who these ones are. It could be good no matter how they do it. But the female is, I think, the biggest question mark at the moment. Yeah. Because you have some people saying, well, he had Alexa for a while and she's not really doing much. She could come back. A lot of people saw this kind of weird side of Liv Morgan at the end of the pay-per-view. And they're saying, oh, maybe Liv. Because the female one had two belts.
Yeah.
So they're saying it's a former champion. And then now I was seeing online there's a possibility, and I don't know if she's just trolling and trying to get clicks, but
Eva
Marie. Eva Marie also talking about it.
actually sick with that.
You got to respect it. I mean, clickbait is clickbait. When you're in an industry that is the internet, you do what you got to do. She's getting a lot of backlash for it.
Yeah, she got a lot of backlash. People are like not taking it seriously, talk about that. Do your thing, innit? Like, like obviously it's not you, but I mean, if it is, but yeah, but obviously, like, get your bait, man. Get your bait.
let her do her thing. But so that's at least where it looks like Bray Wyatt is going to be building that group, at least for the foreseeable future, or in the foreseeable future. But people are also throwing names out there like, who is he going to feud with? Like, is he going to go straight for the title? Is he going to be on this path of, like, people he used to mess with, maybe them versus Judgment Day? People are also saying they're going to let him get established and then let that be the first feud for Cody. Because Cody was his pro when he was Husky Harris in NXT. So, and the two of them had the biggest pops for their returns this year. So
it could be. Yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, they are endless. I mean, but he came, with Bray Wyatt, he came back with his promo on SmackDown. So that was just yesterday, just kind of whatever. And he seemed like himself, and obviously the end was very creepy and scary out of nowhere and what's not. But it's good to see the guy is back, and I think now we will sort of see what will happen in terms of him going towards, the future of his stable and his reigns, and whether he needs the belt or whether he will go for the belt soon or in the long future, whatever, Bray. But I mean, that's the thing, because again, as you said, like, the Extreme Rules pay-per-view had a couple of matches, Rowan and Brutes versus Imperium, Ronda Rousey versus Philip Morgan, Bianca Belair versus Bayley, Riddle versus Rollins, and did I miss anything out?
Karrion Kross and McIntyre.
Yeah, Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre. Yeah, so like you still got those rivalries sort of going on, and let's start off with the Brawl and Brutes and Imperium. That was solid. That was just solid, straight up. And
match of the night,
and it's just something where it's further storytelling, and it just looks great overall. 3 guys, they're all solid, strong fighters, beating the hoodie. Well, 6 guys, sorry, not 3 guys. 3 guys on each team, beating the holy hell out of each other. Yeah, 3 and 3, beating the holy hell out of each other. And it's super, super interesting to see just a match like that in this day and age of wrestling, because that looks like a attitude era sort of fight, or like a fight that looks like a shoot almost. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It looks like a shoot rather than like a proper choreographed fight, choreographed wrestling match, I should say. Like, they're doing their spots very well and what's not. This one is, screw this. Let's beat the hell out of each other. Let's literally fuck each other up. And that's always great to see, because they've really built, like, those 6 have built on their teams and their characters so well to sort of match that sort of, we're strong people. You can beat me down, but I'm going to get straight back up. And no matter what you do, I'm still going to keep coming after you. And that's what I love about it. So they definitely, it's good for Sheamus's and Gunther's feud, because now it's just, what's, like, when's Sheamus going to go for that title again? When's he going to win that title? Because that's the next step. How hard is it going to be? And so on and so forth. So it's them ones where, because that match is so good, it just leaves you waiting for more with the feud. However, with a match like, we pretty much almost arrested them, actually. Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey. We all know Ronda Rousey is going to win. And Ronda Rousey wins. Liv Morgan can be repackaged as a more serious girl, must not, but she's not going to beat Ronda Rousey. So that rivalry is already dead in itself anyway. Do you understand? Like, because
I don't want to see a rematch.
I don't want to see a rematch. There's no point. If Liv Morgan somehow wins, like, that just discredits Ronda Rousey straight away, and it's just going to be a whole back and forth situation, like Sasha Banks and Charlotte from years ago. So that's not going to be nice to see. No one really wants to see that. No offense to them. And then you've got Bianca Belair and Bayley. Okay, well, we know that what's going to happen is
probably the shock of the night.
Yeah, the shock of the night.
Biggest surprise, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely a surprise of the night. But what I see are going to happen, like, I'm not really looking forward to that feud because, you know, Bianca Belair, as much as I love the woman so much, she's reached that point of her title reign where it's looking stale. So because it's looking stale, and no one really cares for the rivalry, but people just want the title to change. It's like, okay, what seems to be the obvious storyline is Bayley fights Bianca Belair again. Bayley wins. Bianca Belair's out for some time, and that's it. And then, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like what my point is, because I'll even get onto Riddle and Rollins, but my point is that what's going on? Like, you know, like none of these matches made us wanting more for the rivalry. We're just kind of happy that match happened there and ended there, rather than more.
No, I completely agree. I was just gonna say the women's roster just seems really depleted right now.
Yeah,
you know, Charlotte's not there. Sasha and Naomi are still gone. We haven't seen Becky in a second. I think she may have been hurt a little bit. I think that was the couple pay-per-views ago when she kind of teased the face turn, but I do think they announced, I think it wasn't anything super serious, but I mean, time off nonetheless is, I was thinking to myself, like, how do they go about, like, even both rosters, but I think if they continued the feud with Bianca and Bayley, I think the fresh way to change things up, they let Bayley win, Bianca joins them, or just turns heel and does her own thing. Adds for something fresh, something new for her.
Yeah, for sure.
But that doesn't leave much left on the Raw roster, especially. I mean, you have Asuka and Alexa, and that's about it.
Yeah, it is. You know, someone.
And there's, you know.
Yeah. What are you gonna say?
I was just gonna say the rumors of a couple more females returning with, you know, Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo and possibly things here in the future, but I mean, even in bringing those in, you got to give them time. I just don't like where the women's division is at right now, and it's not their fault. It's just, and it's not Triple H's fault. It wasn't even Vince's fault. It's just with all these key marquee players not being in the mix, it leaves for just what can they do?
The issue is that, you know, when you think about a few years ago, I'm going on to around late 2016, 2017, and 2018. Maybe I'm wrong with those years, but I remember, like, the women's division, like, just having, like, rivalries here and there, left, right, and center. And it didn't need a title. The issue is that someone said it to me this week, like, literally a few days ago, where it's like, without the titles, there's nothing with the women. Like, the women have nothing to fight for. There's no rivalry. There's nothing there. And all they have rivalries about, or for, I should say, are just for the titles. It's dead. It's dead. There's nothing where you can be like, oh, wow, this is like a really good rivalry, or this would be a blockbuster of a match, and what's not. Like, even when they brought back Lita to fight Becky Lynch, it was for the title. Why is Lita in a title match?
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like, what is that about? Why is she in a title match?
Out of nowhere.
Because, like, right now, they can't bring anyone to really watch those matches if it doesn't involve a title. But that has to do with just the way the girls are being booked, how their characters are being booked, and just overall, just because of, like, how the characters are being booked and how the rivalries are, the fans aren't going to be really that interested, unfortunately. It's just the reality of it. Like, when we have
it needs a refresher.
Yeah, like,
or something new.
Back in the day, I'm thinking about rivalries, like Undertaker's Shawn Michaels. The Undertaker and Kane, I'm pretty sure, only had a rivalry for a title once. if I can remember, once or twice in their 15+ year careers. Do you understand? When they're in the rivalries together. And it's just like, it just shows you how top quality guys were able to have a rivalry with each other that didn't need a title, because the title would just be a supplement rather than necessity to make their rivalries relevant. Do you understand? And it's a shame because, you know, I kind of feel like that with the women, because of like the swapping and changing of the titles often, and then not really building or focusing on like bettering those rivalries itself, like the core foundation of those rivalries. It just holds nothing. So I'm looking to see what's going to be happening in the future, because I can't lie to you, and it sounds like I'm being like really sexist and what's not, but I don't care about the woman right now. Do you understand? And I don't mean it in a way in which, I'm just like, I hate watching women wrestle. Obviously, I don't need to defend myself for that, but it's a thing where, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? Like, there's just no substance to your rivalries. I don't feel anything. Like, Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. And they're constantly at each other's necks. Do you understand? Whereas with, like, when I think about all the women in the roster, it's like, okay. So, yeah, I'm only hoping for the future we really see.
I agree.
We really see something.
Where it stands right now, it's just they don't have competition. I mean, if you look at where AEW's at, their women division isn't much different, much better. I wouldn't say it's better, but more consistent.
It's more consistent
where it's been at.
It's more.
Yeah, where WWE kind of has these flashes. The NXT women's division looks really good right now.
Yeah, it's top quality. That's the rule.
So maybe we see some call-ups here in the near future. They just had Sonya appear on NXT, which is weird for me, unless they're trying to blend NXT with the main shows. I don't think the women's division has any room to be sending people to NXT. They need more women on the main roster.
For sure. Definitely. But
so, I mean, maybe Toxic Attraction.
Yeah, they're top quality. But they could be in the main roster. But the thing is with NXT is they've always had good women. Think about the Four Horsemen. They all came from NXT. They've always produced like top quality girls, like top quality women out there. And it's a thing where, you know, when I look at the NXT women's roster right now, I'm like, they look great. They are great characters. They're great performers. Like they look like athletes. Do you know what I mean? Like athletes who look good, like they look the part. And not that, you know, because obviously, like, they're pretty and what's not. Yeah, that's cool. But what I mean, like, they look good, like, they look serious with what they're doing. Not to say that the girls in the main roster don't, but I don't know, what is it? With Toxic Attraction, they're all conventionally attractive girls, right? But the way how can I say, like, their attires and their attitudes and their characters, it all makes so much sense. They don't even need the title. None of them even need a title, but because they have so much character, it's like it brings in that uniqueness to them, right? Whereas you go to the main roster, I mean, bless her, Alexa Bliss is having a good time. You know, people can cuss her for her new music or whatever, but it's like, what's going on with Alexa now? Like, what's going on with Asuka? Like, what's so unique about them? Like, obviously we know what's unique about them, but if someone was to watch it today, they'd be like, well, this girl looks stale. That girl looks stale. Maybe Bianca Belair is great because she's got like a character and what's not. Bayley, maybe, I don't know. Ronda Rousey, Liv Morgan, whatever. Like, that's it. But hey ho, listen, enough about the girls. I mean, hopefully the women's rosters will become more entertaining in the future.
They need to do something.
Yeah, they need to do something. But, you know,
let's get on to... call up some from NXT or sign some of these. I mean, talking about Chelsea and Deonna and... there was a couple other Mia Yim. I mean, they need to bring someone in there. They need to spruce up the roster. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm sure Triple H has an idea or it's something that's in the works, but we're just at the beginning of it and we're seeing it at the bare bones.
It's not gonna be perfect right now.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah,
hopefully soon. What else we have here? I did have. I mean, Brock Lesnar's back again, and first time he's in a non-title feud.
I like it.
in a long
like
time.
It, yeah, in a long time. I think that's whoa, yeah.
Him and Bobby Lashley. I think maybe they'll be able to do it right this time, not having the title fiasco with Roman also in the picture.
Yeah,
just Brock and Bobby. Something
fresh,
that we've wanted, like just that again. No title, just them. And long-term storytelling, maybe. They were beefing a little bit before Bobby left, and then Brock left, and then now they're both back. So who knows? They did also, they gave Seth Rollins his first title in 4 or 5 years. U.S. title. Hopefully,
US title,
start to give the U.S. title a little more recognition. I will say I do like Rollins had the Rob Van Dam attire at Extreme Rules. I actually really like that.
Yeah.
I really like that little nod, that little to one of the, ECW. They were in Philly, one of the alumni, one of the founding fathers of the Extreme Wrestling, at least in the WWE era. So that was really cool. I was thinking Daniel Cormier, who was refereeing, might have something to do with Brock Lesnar, because they have had a couple. They were friends, and then they've had some spats in the UFC. So I think maybe they're trying not to make the same mistake, because when they brought in Cain Velasquez, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna make him and Brock fight over here," it was like super non-exciting. I don't even. Yeah.
Goodness gracious,
I don't know.
I forgot about that. Oh god. Yeah.
It does make me wonder what's next for Riddle. But, I mean, it looks like I'm glad Rollins is finally getting a little bit more of what he deserves, because,
But this is the thing. Right? And this is why I was annoyed that Rollins lost in Extreme Rules, because if Rollins won, and then, it's like, Riddle, screw you, whatever, right? And then went to, with what happened with Bobby Lashley, and then beat Lashley, he has that sort of, I'm still okay, I'll lose here and there, but I'm still that guy, don't forget. Do you understand? And it's like, that could, maybe make Riddle chase him and what's not, but to be honest, why does Riddle need to be fighting Rollins now? He beat him. So what's next? What's next for Rollins with that US title? Like, obviously, Lashley's not even going to come for him, because Lashley's only focused on Brock now. And then, Riddle comes and they have a match for the US title, or then Rollins beats Riddle, but it's kind of like a thing where it's a bit late now, isn't it? Like, what's going to happen with that title reign? And I kind of feel that it would have started off better. Obviously, it's just started right now, but it would have started off better, like even better, if Rollins had won the pay-per-view and then beat Lashley on that Raw. By the way, he won. And then maybe have Riddle trying to chase him, blah, blah, blah. And then beat Riddle again. And then we go on for there. Because right now, I don't really see what's next for Riddle, because he just won a big match at Extreme Rules. But Rollins is the champion. You're not. So what's that about? Do you understand? And that's what I was trying to say from the get-go. I was like, not really looking forward for those matches anymore. So I don't know.
No, right there with you. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, before the episode, I was like, oh yeah, I'm actually loving where WWE's at. But explaining it and breaking it down, I'm kind of like, you see the flaws, and you're like, okay, there's definitely some areas we can improve. And I'm not saying they won't, because they're sprucing up the roster, they're adding people, they're bringing people back, they're getting the fans excited about this new era, and we're on that home stretch to Royal Rumbles in January, so we got 2 months, and that's usually where. And there's rumors of Cody should probably be back around then. Randy should probably be back a little later. Yeah. A lot of question marks, though.
Yeah, it's a lot of question marks.
I didn't even to where I didn't even realize it until we started kind of breaking it down. Like, not that I have issues with it. Like, it's not a bad product, but it has so much more room for improvement. Yeah,
for sure, 100% with you. But I mean, on that one, I'm pretty happy with what we discussed. Extreme Rules was pretty quick.
Yeah.
we've had the Raw SmackDown afterwards. We're pretty happy with what's going on, but I think we're at that stage now where, after the pay-per-view, after a pretty decent or good pay-per-view, we are at the stage where we are just kind of waiting for these new rivalries to grow, and what the new direction is with some of these characters now. And that's obviously the awkward part, because it's a lot of I don't knows, and I don't really think about this, or I don't really know what's going to happen here, and I don't really know what's going to happen there. But I mean, that's the beauty of wrestling. You never know until you see it. So, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy to even wrap up. I feel like we've discussed what we need to discuss right now, and obviously we will be having many more episodes in the future about many different topics to do with wrestling, or even to do with fitness, because we haven't had a fitness episode in a long time. But listen,
has been a minute.
Everyone, yes, please make sure that you give me suggestions on what to talk about, because I have a lot of things to talk about, but it's hard, because I have such a big fitness brain. You've got to break it down to me,
pinpoint.
So I can got to pinpoint it, so I can definitely have a discussion on that topic. So definitely message me on Instagram or Twitter and so on and so forth. Even on TikTok, I might use TikTok here and there. But listen. It's time to wrap it up. So, on that note, to you everyone out there listening, thank you. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Professional Heels Podcast. You have me, Brennan Cabino, also known as the Black John Cena, and my man, Gavin Gabriel, also known as the Sexy Goldberg. And on that note, we bid you adieu.